All right, so this is Lavs, and this is Hanging with Lavs. And this is my good friend DJ Ashba.
What's up, fuckers?
I met this guy doing some charity events and
Yeah.
things like that around Vegas, and I've been bumping into this guy all the time, and I'm like, man, you're a cool guy, man. You help out the kids, you do things and everything else, and like, there's only two instances where you're allowed to wear eye makeup, and that's if you're a chick
Yeah.
or if you're a rock star. So, what band do you play for?
Yeah.
And then what do you say?
At the time, I played with Guns N' Roses.
I was like, oh, that little band. Oh, Guns N' Roses. So,
Yeah,
so
I did,
that's pretty
I
cool.
did about 6 years with him. I was the guy that came in and took Slash's spot. Have somebody like Axl, believe in you and give you a really great shot in life is something I'll never forget. Oh, but when I was on my way down there, Katie McNeil, great friend, longtime friend, gave me a call. And at the time, she was working with Irving Azoff, who managed Guns. And she gave me a call and said, hey, would you want to audition? I said, yeah, of course.
Do you want to audition for Guns N' Roses? Like,
Yeah, why not?
let me think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I went down. I never thought anything of it. I didn't think I was going to get the gig. I don't, I didn't really think much. I just want to go jam some gun songs. Who cares? And meet the guys. It'd be great.
Yeah.
I had met Axl years before when I was doing the Beautiful Creatures album on Warner Brothers, and Sharon Osbourne walked me in and introduced me to him. And so and we're both from Indiana, so we kind of had a cool little bond that way. And the night before, I remember, calling Katie, my manager, saying, I think I'm going to back out. I was just getting kind of cold feet. I was like, it's going to be a lot of work. I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, you can't screw me over. You got to just show up, And I go, okay, for you, I will. And I showed up, and I get in my car, and she calls me, and she basically said, you got the gig. And it didn't set in for a while. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was
Wow.
it was very surreal. And then I remember going into rehearsals. It was still surreal because Axl never showed up. So it's like just jamming with the band. It's cool. And I think the first show was Tokyo Dome, sold out, like 60,000 people. I can't remember. It was a massive show.
Uh-huh.
And still no Axl. And I was like, this is just kind of weird. And you get used to rehearsing with the guys without Axl there. And sure enough, the lights go down. Here comes Axl, and and then that started a 6-year journey of. We played a ton of shows, had a lot of fun, and it's a time in my life I'm never gonna forget, and I'll always cherish. And but now I'm playing in 6 a.m. I started 6 a.m. with.
Yeah, so then fast forward to today.
Yeah.
And now you're with 6 a.m.
For 10 years, yeah. So we started 6 a.m. before Guns, and we put out a couple albums. We had a #1 hit song when I got the call for Guns. So our song with 6 a.m. was #1, biggest song of the year. And so that was probably why I got the
Nice.
call.
Okay.
So got the call for that. And then at the time, I never dreamt that Axl would know who I was or even knew I existed. But
Yeah.
he's a very intelligent guy, and he knows everything that's going on in the music industry. He knows pretty much who all the hip people are coming up. He knew more about my career than I had forgotten. So about some of the things I did, but that's what impressed me about him. He was really very smart and really up on the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I got a quick Axl story. He lived 2 doors down, right up the street from my friend Gabby Reese
Okay.
in Malibu,
Yeah.
off Latigo Canyon.
Uh-huh.
Like that was, I
He's
would go
still
stay
there,
that.
I
I'd go
think.
stay at that house, and then she'd be like, "Yeah, that's Axl's house." I was like,
Right.
"No way!" So that's funny. That's
That's
crazy,
awesome.
but yeah, that's weird.
And what's funny, I gotta tell your viewers that
Yeah, all 3 of you.
all 3 of you, 4 now because
Yeah,
I have 1 I
see?
think now. But I didn't know anything about you either, and I'm not from the motor, the the BMX world and this world, and I'm intrigued by it because I do a lot of the national anthems for
Yeah.
Monster Energy and do things like that. But I met you at that event. I had
Mhm.
no idea either, but the more I went, I was like, fuck, you're a legend in the sport. And I was just like, but it's cool, we were actually talking about that, how we became friends and we had no idea what each other of us.
So it's a very organic relationship.
Yeah, I've just had a super blessed life. So have you. I mean, I'm here at TJ's house and got to see his killer dirt track out there. Is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool world, My world exists of, rockets and bombs and crazy shit and flying jets drunk and, things like that. But,
yeah.
But
we don't have jets. We actually sit coach. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, so that's awesome, man. So what projects do you have going today besides 6 a.m.?
Well,
so you have Ashba Media, right?
I have Ashba Media. I started a media company in 2003, and I beat out a bunch of agencies to get the Virgin account.
Wow.
And that was kind of a bullshit luck thing because I had built websites and I was a graphic designer, and I caught wind that the singer in 6 a.m., his girlfriend Dee, worked at Virgin. She gave me kind of the heads up, hey, they're looking for a new agency of record. And I was literally broke at the time. So all she could do is get me the meeting. That's all. She couldn't guarantee anything. But at the time, I was going through a really bad breakup, and I literally was pretty much broke because the chick I was with stole pretty much the last of what I had. And my singer, it was cool because James loaned me a couple $1,000s, I think like $4,000. Only loan I've ever taken in my life, and it killed me to take it. But what I did with that money is first of all I had to get a place to live at the time, and then I took the last remaining like $1,000 and incorporated the name Ashba Media, and which nobody would have probably done in their right mind. But I believed in this so much, and I convinced the 3 graphic designers that I'd already worked with over the years, hey, if you give me your time for 2 weeks, let's sit down and sit on the floor in the living room, design all these ad campaigns, and if we get the gig, I'll put you on a great salary for as long as we have it. And they agreed to do it. And the one thing I knew is I knew our artwork would speak for itself, I've always been very artistic, had a cartoon in a newspaper, and I was the kid they'd take out of all this, the classes to paint the gyms and design the yearbooks and blah, blah, blah. And long story short, we got the gig. And so we went from, me borrowing for $4,000 to paying James back within 2 weeks. And literally build it into a multi-million-dollar company. So, yeah. And we're still going strong. Like I moved the company to Vegas.
Best city in the world.
Yes, and we went from literally working out of our living room. And then I had an idea, because up till that point, it was all graphic design. It was all like, in-store ad campaigns, $10 off signs, like Grammy season. So it's like everything changes to the Grammys and whatnot. And then I had an idea. I came across this very talented guy online, a couple, Lisa and Frank, and they were building this life-size Jason, like a kind of a Madame Tussauds. And I started going, if I could take that and put it into the world I do with my mind, how I see things, if I can basically build a company that can build anything I can dream up in my head, then I think I'll be onto something. And that's what I did. I came out here, and I remember hiring them. I think I gave them $5,000 or whatever it was to build me a life-size Jason. And they sent it to me a couple weeks later, and I wanted to see it in person. And the detail was so incredible that I ended up moving their whole family out here. And they still 5 years later work for me. And
that's so awesome.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Cirque du Soleil knocked on my door because of what I've done with Virgin, and we started building out life-size characters and 3D environments for Cirque, and it just took off from there. So,
that is sick.
Yes. That's a long, long-winded story. But
so you're not only awesome at guitar, but you also have a brain.
Yeah. Well,
and very artistic.
I'm smart enough to know, I'm not that smart, but I'm smart enough to know that you can't entertain the world forever. Eventually your bones are going to give out, and I'm married. I have a beautiful wife, Natalia, who is Colombian. lived in Italy most of her life.
So
and
she's ugly.
She's super ugly.
Yeah. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. I mean, you're so nice. Because Colombians are just
she's just the best thing ever. But but what's cool about that is when you get married, all your priorities change.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And you stop thinking about you, and you start thinking about us. You know. And it's like, okay, if I can't perform tomorrow, if I break my hands, whatever, I need to know that I have something to you know, to. So that was the whole theory of building this company off to the side of music. So when I was in Guns N' Roses, you know, I'd be you know, 60,000 people waiting on me to get on stage, and I'd be in my, you know, backstage or hotel room on the computer doing business. Like, you know, every waking minute I had, I was building this company up. Along with, in 2008, I took that company and we started designing a clothing line called Ashba, and it's obviously most of the people out there would probably know it. I mean, we sell worldwide and have since 2008. So now we've just launched our first retail store at the Stratosphere.
Nice.
And it's been on fire, and it's just been great, and that's been my life. So
well, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
It's a really long,
and
boring
you give back.
story.
Oh yeah, it's real boring. Yeah, play for Guns N' Roses, 60,000.
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome, man. And now you do a lot of charity stuff here in Vegas, and
a lot, yeah.
And I never go to a charity event. I rarely go to a charity event that you're not at.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
It's important, and it means the world to me to see you at them all too. It's like cool, and that's how our friendship started.
Yeah,
and that's what's cool about it. But yeah, I give as much as I can, and the mayor actually gave me my own day, which is on my birthday, November 10th. And,
nice.
Yeah, so you know, just for the charity work I do, it's neat when you do give. You never give in you know, expecting to get anything in return.
You never give to get.
But this town is, the mayor here is so incredible like that. They really do notice, and it's cool.
This is the greatest city in the world.
I'm
telling you. Vegas. Best city in the world. But hey, so if you learned something today, cool. If you didn't, better. But this is DJ Ashba. Check him out. And where can somebody see you?
You can go to Instagram. It's at DJ Ashba, DJASHBA, or DJAshba.com.
Boom. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. This is Hanging with LAVS.
Thanks, brother man.
So I walk in, Ashba out, and this is his piece of shit car in the driveway.
You can't see anything.